Hey Internet, it's RJ, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Of course, we're in the midst of, Christmas and New Year's, but it's okay. We still found a few interesting headlines to talk about and finish out the year with. So we'll talk about Chase removing a credit from their cards. Of course, we have an update on Clear, trying to make it easier to get through the airport. And we have BILT Rewards also changing their loyalty program requirements. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now we will lead off with a quick hit that comes from Chase in the House of Diamond. You may be familiar with this, but for the last 2 years, Chase has offered a $10 Gopuff credit on the majority of their credit cards. If you're unfamiliar, Gopuff is like another, not so much like a food delivery service like an Uber or like a DoorDash, but more like I think like convenience stores and bring you snacks and stuff from like drugstores and convenience stores and things like that. Well, anyways, they are actually ending that partnership or ending that credit, and that is ending actually today, the day you're watching this, December 31st. Just be aware of that coming the new year and how we used it. I would be interested to know how many people took advantage of those. You can let me know down below how you use them, but that is ending. So, quick hit aside. Now we're getting into it. We're talking about Visa, one of the major payment networks. Visa is in the news because they have an interesting post, which has a lot of marketing words of sorts, but it's still interesting because they are partnering with a tech company on some kind of like upcoming biometric type features for potential payments. So, let's take a look at this full article here, and then we'll kind of see what it could potentially mean. And when we get into it here, this is from payments.com, a website we've used before. But Visa has teamed up with biometrics firm Tech5 to help build digital government ecosystems on a global scale. The partnership will involve the two companies working to implement digital ID-based payment infrastructure and services on a national level. According to the release, the partnership will see the companies develop a blueprint for expanding card acceptance for government disbursements, and payment programs across all platforms, as well as establishing financial literacy and digital inclusion programs. The two firms say they are also working on a roadmap for a super app enabling Visa and credentials for citizens and non-residents via multiple digital channels. So, they said a lot of words there. It's definitely a lot of words. What does that mean? Well, the way it's written, it could mean like any number of things, right? But they're partnering with a biometrics firm or biometrics company, and it's been talked about before adding some kind of like biometrics feature or authentication to payments, which I kind of find a little bit funny because we have the just the payment on the credit cards themselves. We have the the chip that you dip, as they say, into the point of sale machine, but we stopped short at adding pins, like pin numbers to it. In other countries, they have pins, which helps against if you lost your card or something. It's an extra layer of security. We couldn't even be bothered to pay for that additional feature, so I don't know. I'm interested to see how this will work and what they actually think it means. Also, super apps are also, from what I understand, are kind of more commonplace overseas. I think that was the whole Twitter thing when they changed to X. Elon was looking for like, hey, can I build this into a super app? And the super apps are like these apps that like literally do everything for you, instead of we would have like a bunch of individual apps that do one thing specifically per function, I guess you could say. So it's really hard to pull anything specific out of that press release. I almost didn't even include it, but I do think it's at least worth noting, especially on a slower week, that hey, the payment networks are working on additional features. Biometrics at this point is kind of commonplace because of how we use them on our phones and other devices, and we're going to see in a second. Clear is also looking at updated biometrics in our next story, and especially since payment networks have been under fire as of late for always wanting to raise the swipe fees or interchange fees. The merchants pushing back so much. So if you could add more features and more benefits, to justify price hikes, then that definitely does help. Of course, no word on when this roadmap is going to come out, what the super app will do or anything like that. But again, I do think it's interesting that we're looking at the payment networks trying to do some innovation. I think a lot of times we forget, like a lot of the stuff we like on credit cards, like those Visa and MasterCard benefits, those are actually network benefits and not necessarily benefits offered by Citi or Chase or Amex, technically their own payment network, but you get the point. So You can let me know what you think of biometrics for payments down below. Like, what would you think about it? Would you be interested in it? I'd be interested to see your thoughts on that, again, with the article being so vague. But with that, we'll move to our next story, and it is more biometrics. This time we're talking about Clear, so everyone's favorite fast pass through the airport security. So Clear is getting an update and a few different things coming in 2024. So they've got a whole FAQ page for part of it, and we have that over on profitable.content.com for you. But if we take a look at it here, there's two things. So the first one is going to be what they're calling Clear's Next Gen Identity Plus. So from their FAQ, Identity Plus is the highest fidelity digital identity, unlocking physical and digital experiences for our members in the airport and beyond. We're excited about the even more predictable, friction-free experience that Next Gen Identity Plus will unlock for our members and the enhanced security it provides. Yeah, sure, cool. What I think, from what I can tell, what they actually mean is that they're going to have it set up where, their identity software pulls from known databases, being like state and federal levels, and that's supposed to make it a little bit more secure and somehow quicker to get through security. And I think that might play into the next part, but it is worth noting with this Identity Plus deal, when you're using Clear, you're going to the various kiosks. You may be asked to, upgrade your profile of sorts, and it's right now I think it's a slow roll optional deal, but eventually it will be mandatory to opt into Identity Plus, or you will no longer be able to use Clear, is my understanding of it. So I think it's fine. I think Clear to me, it still needs to be a partnership with the TSA. A full partnership, because you can go through Clear, but then you run right into the same security lines that you have to go through, which is where we get into the second part of this, because the kiosks are also getting an upgrade as well. So the kiosks, the upgrade they're getting they're kind of moving to like facial recognition versus what they use now, which would be fingerprint or iris scanning, which I would assume takes a little bit longer. They're assuming facial recognition would be a little bit faster. Now, these upgrades have been worked on in partnership with Department of Homeland Security. Of course, the TSA does report up to Department of Homeland Security. And at one point earlier in the year, there was even talks about, Clear and TSA Pre being basically one application. So you got both of them, got the benefits of it, but no news on that. So I can see a world where, doing the facial scan is quicker, or if we can just scan faces, can they kind of scan them as you walk in, into the line versus actually having to stop, and to go to the kiosk and everything. I mean, the kiosks themselves aren't necessarily that slow, but if you can just scan and keep moving, then you have the government database pulling, because now when you go up to the TSA person, you used to have to give them your boarding pass. Well, now if you just give them your ID, they can run it through and they get everything they need from that. So if you're pulling from the same databases, which you would assume source of truth, and you add in Face ID, Face ID unlock is pretty quick on phones. That could be something. Again, I don't know if that's how it's going to work, but speculation. So could be a good thing overall. And again, my overall opinion is information's already out there. I don't necessarily think upgrading to Face ID is giving them any more information than they already had on you. But of course, again, as all stories, let me know your thoughts down below. I know sometimes on the other channel when we have bank account promotions that require like a selfie, it's a big turn off for folks. But again, I think the difference there is the bank didn't have a picture of you, and we're like, if TSA or Clear is already going to be pulling from government databases, well, they kind of already have it. But again, interesting your thoughts. Now, last story we have is BILT Reward. So over the past year or so, BILT Rewards has been on a tear, adding those rent days, special promotions, and things like that. Well, now, the game giveth and the game taketh. Well, sort of, because BILT, they do have a loyalty program, and the requirements to get into this program are changing, and the company saying is as a result of it being significantly easier to earn points on the card now, which, again, given what they've done, rent days and things like that, I do think they have a point. So let's take a look at this. Now, this comes to us from our friends at TPG, who are always doing the promotions for BILT. But here you go. So they have 4 tiers. So blue level is like your standard tier. Then silver tier, you would now need to either earn 50,000 points or do $10,000 in spend. Gold tier, 125k points or 25,000 in spend. And platinum is 200,000 points or 50,000 in spend. The official word from BILT is the tier adjustments were necessary because of all the ways to earn BILT rewards. As we said, they didn't exist 2.5 years ago. So today we have double points on rent day, earning 10x points on fitness classes, up to 2x on BILT rewards travel portal, up to 10x on BILT dining, and up to 5x points on Lyft rides. In their defense, that is a lot of ways to earn points and high multipliers on some things. Now, how much spend are you doing in those? It's probably up to debate. I don't know how much fitness class costs and Lyft rides, but that's fine. So what do you get for these statuses, right? Well, this chart is from TPG. So you can see on the right, we've got blue, silver, gold, and platinum. And on the left, we have the benefits. So your benefit, bonus points on new lease or renewals for members living in the BILT Rewards Alliance. Earn interest on points. Help from a dedicated home buying concierge if you redeem BILT points towards a down payment on a home. Complimentary BILT collection gift upon reaching status. So that's what you get for the status. In their first pass, it'd be really easy to make a headline saying BILT is ruining their loyalty program, but I believe most people get this card simply for the 1x back on rent, and their travel partners are pretty good. So if you wanted to use this on things like Lyft and fitness classes where they're offering you higher tiers and rent day, by all means, I think it would be a good card to do that, especially given their travel partners. Again, you can't really cash out the points because it's a really weak valuation if you do. So it's basically a travel card. These benefits, they're not very, unless I'm missing something, and by all means, if I am, you guys can let me know, but these benefits are not that helpful, and I don't think they're worth even trying to go after with spend. So yes, they hike them up. I think it's a reasonable argument, but the benefits are like, I don't see a gift from them. Cool, maybe, but I don't know what they're actually giving you. The concierge one is also interesting to me because I can't think what a concierge would do to help you buy a home, right? Because that's like a good a decent real estate agent is going to know everyone that you need to know. Usually every real estate agent has their own title guy, their own, you name it, photo guy, what have you, whoever you need, their own home inspector. And a lot of stuff you can't pick. And a lot of stuff you have to be there for. So it's not like, you home inspection, you would want to be there, or the agent has someone from their office who can be there. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what you're getting from that. So, yes, they're raising the membership tiers. I think it's fine. I think these benefits are not very good. So, unless I'm missing something, people have actually used them, I wouldn't bother trying to go after them. But again, I don't think this takes away from the core purpose of the card in any way. So, I'm going to say not a big deal. So anyways, guys, that has been the news for this week and this year, of course. So if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com. The channel's blog is always linked down below for you and on the homepage. We not only have news stories just like this, we have bank promotions as well. And we have credit card offers. We have the BILT card if you're interested. Maybe you really want to see what a concierge does. But if you want to earn some real money, we still have the Chase Ink Unlimited and Ink Cash $900 offers. And we still have the Freedom Unlimited Double Cash offer as well, all of which would be great cards to start off your new year's in a profitable state. Anyways, guys, this is the last show for 2023. So, thank you very much for watching. Had a big year. We launched a Discord and channel memberships, which you can learn more about down below by clicking the join button. Of course, we launched the website, which people seem to not hate, which is always a nice thing. So I guess I have a few hours to go figure out what we're going to do in 2024. But as always, again, guys, thank you so much. Happy New Year to all of you, and I look forward to seeing you right back here next year.